Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
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 I hope everyone has packed their lunch. I've probably never had this many people in court before. It is going to take a while, so you need to have your phones charged and you need to be patient. We're going to get you out as fast and efficiently as possible.
Should I just call off work then? Because I need to be at work.
But I don't listen. Don't interrupt.
No.
You do what you have to do, sir. Put your device, put the cigarette out. Put the
The
cigarette
cigarette's
down.
not the cigarette's not even lit, sir, but I got you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
The 36th District Court for the State of Michigan is now in session with the Honorable Judge Sean Perkins presiding. Please remain silent. There is no sleeping, eating, talking, or driving. Good morning, Your Honor. Ma'am, you have to remove the bonnet.
On the iPhone, I just let you in the room. Good morning to you. Start your name. And
Asia Outerbridge.
And turn your camera on, man. Asia who?
Outerbridge.
And why are you so late?
Because I have a paper right here that shows my court started at 1 o'clock. But then when I called, right here, if you can look, on this thing right here, it says 1 o'clock.
I don't see 1 o'clock.
Maybe
I saw 9 a.m. It looks like I saw 9 a.m.
I had 1 o'clock on one of those papers.
You just showed me a paper, Miss Outerbridge. That
yes,
said
I did. Right.
Miss Outerbridge.
So when I called,
No, we can't talk at the same time.
well, I apologize for being late. You, excuse me.
Stop. Miss Outerbridge,
You asked me a question. I'm just trying to answer it.
I know. Put whatever you're trying to prepare
I'm
down.
trying to be my daughter.
Get your coat. You got to put your properly dressed on. I
am
do the robe.
properly dressed. I have on a t-shirt. I am properly dressed.
Is that a robe?
It's the problem, sir. I'm not even doing that. You asked me a question. I'm answering. My daughter is sick. I had to keep her home from school. I'm just trying to feed her. That is it.
Understandable, but you're in court.
Miss Outerbridge, I'm sorry that your daughter is sick. But again, you're in court, okay? And we're going to treat it as such. I asked you.
I'm properly dressed.
No, don't talk.
I have on clothes. I have on clothes. I have on clothes.
Fine, Miss Outerbridge.
I have on clothes. What?
Thank you.
All right, I got a lot of people to thank. Looking for Sinclair, help me out with that one. On this one, we've got KDM, we've got Brecken, we've got Zach over at Law Nerds Unite. There are probably more. I'll remember as we go.
All right. Deputy Throckmorton, what are you up to? Who do you
I have Mr. Farhall here.
Well, let's have Mr. Farhall.
He's getting seated.
Okay.
There you go.
How are you, Your Honor?
I'm fine, thank you. We are on the record in 2024 TR 3084, State of Kansas versus Michael A. Farhall. Jared Regier appearing for the state. Are you Michael Farhall for the record?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Okay, the defendant also appears personally and pro se. Sir, I have a set today for a trial on the allegation that you were speeding 87 miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone. And it looks like the state has their subpoenaed witness, Trooper Cale Collins. Are you ready to proceed for trial, Mr. Farhall?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Mr. Regier?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I don't need opening statements. If you'll just please proceed, Mr. Regier.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Master Trooper Cale Collins to the stand.
Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So
This defendant looks like one of the characters from Taxi. I don't know who. I was almost young at that time.
help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Trooper Cale Collins
Where are you employed?
with the Kansas Highway Patrol.
And is Trooper your professional title in that capacity?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How long have you worked as a law enforcement officer?
For 24 years.
Okay. Were you on active duty in your professional capacity on November 24th, 2024 at approximately 3:10 p.m.?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And where were you at that time?
I was southbound on I-35 highway at milepost 63 in Butler County, Kansas.
Okay. And is I-35, is that a multi-lane highway?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How many lanes would you say?
There are 2 lanes in each direction.
Okay. And what are these directions? 2 directions.
Are they all paved? Well, let's get that out of the way. I want to know if every lane is paved. Let's go 1 through 4.
You're referring to?
Northbound and southbound.
Okay. And are these northbound and southbound lanes separated by a barrier of any kind?
Yes, there is a concrete barrier in the middle.
Okay. And when you say you were southbound, were you in a marked patrol vehicle at the time? Or
Yes,
some
I
other
was.
vehicle?
No, I was in my marked patrol car.
Okay. Do you recall the makeup of your surroundings at the time?
Yes, it's at that area. I think it's a slight downhill. It's an asphalt roadway.
This cop, I like already. I have not seen this clip, but just his demeanor. He probably is about my age, and he has exactly my attitude, which is I'm too old for this crap. I don't really care what happens here. I will do my job, however.
There's no trees in the ditch or anything like that.
Okay. Overall, would you describe this as a rural or urban area?
It is a rural area.
Okay. You've already mentioned that there's a slight downhill curvature to the road. Would you describe this the road at this location as more curving or straight?
It was more straight.
Okay. Do you recall if any bridges cross over I-35 at this location?
I do not recall, no.
Do you recall what the weather was like at the time?
As I recall, it was a clear day.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, did any of these aspects of the location that you refer to impair your field of vision in any way?
No, they did not.
Okay. Trooper, are you familiar with KSA 8-1558?
Yes, I am.
And what does that say about drivers and maximum speed limits?
That you're not allowed to exceed the maximum posted speed limit.
Okay. And is this mandate limited to a specific class of drivers?
No, it is not. It applies to all drivers.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request the court take judicial notice of KSA 8-1558.
So taken.
Trooper, do you consider yourself capable of identifying traffic violations on site?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Besides your 24 years of experience, do you have any other special training that you've undergone that allows you to identify traffic violations when you see them?
Yes, initially get certified by an instructor on the radar unit. And then each year we're required to go through 40 hours of continuing education to maintain our certification.
Okay. Maintain on your certification in what sense?
To continue to do the job,
Okay.
our law enforcement certification.
Okay. Are you currently up to date on your 40 hours continuing education requirements?
Yes, I am.
Okay. On November 24th, 2024, at approximately 3:10 p.m., did you see any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes, I did.
What did you see?
I was southbound on I-35 highway in the right lane. there was a vehicle directly behind me in the right lane, and then there were two other vehicles gaining on that vehicle behind me in the left lane. The rear vehicle, I think, probably saw me first and slowed down. I checked the speed of the vehicle that continued to come at me at 87 in a 75 mile per hour zone. I locked it into the radar. As the front vehicle got closer, it was a Audi SUV.
Okay.
As it got closer, it was right at the bumper of the car that was directly behind me, and it slowed down, got behind that vehicle for probably 5-10 seconds, and then changed back into the left lane, and then sped back up to, after slowing down, sped back up to 80 miles an hour and passed by me.
Okay. So focusing on this Audi for the moment, you've referred to, I think you said 87 miles per hour as well as 80 miles per hour. Did you use any specialized equipment to check the Audi's speed?
Yes, I did. I used my stalker radar in the rear same mode.
Okay. And are you certified to use the stalker radar?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you use testing to check that is working properly?
Yes, I do.
Could you please describe this testing for the court?
At the beginning and end of each shift, we do an internal test of the radar unit. There's a button on there that says test, and I guess as was stated earlier, it gives a happy tone or it says fail. And on the day in question, it gave the happy tone.
Okay.
And said pass.
How often do you personally conduct this testing?
At the beginning and end of every shift.
Okay. And is that a requirement that you're expected to uphold on a daily basis?
Yes, it is. It's required by policy.
Okay. And are you aware of any incidents where that may not have been the case?
I am not. No, it has not failed since I've had it. No, sir.
Okay. And how long have you had this stalker radar?
If I can look at my certificate of accuracy here.
Your Honor, for the court's for purposes of refreshing the witness's recollection.
Would be fine. Admitted.
There's a certificate of accuracy right there. It was tested on June 29th of 21. And sometime after that, it was installed. I could not give you an exact date.
Okay. But since it was installed subsequent to this June 2021 date, you have never personally encountered a negative result on the internal testing of the stalker radar?
No, I have not.
Okay. Suppose theoretically that a stalker radar unit came back as a negative result and that it wasn't functioned properly. What would happen then?
It would be taken out of service and returned to the manufacturer for repair or replacement.
But you've never personally had to do that?
No, sir.
Okay, and that's because, and is that because, per your testimony, that you've never had your stalker radar fail?
That is correct.
Okay. On November 24th, 2024, at approximately 3 p.m., can you personally confirm that the stalker radar was working properly?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Did you perform the testing towards the beginning of your shift on that day?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you confirm that the Audi was specifically clocked by the stalker radar?
Yes, I can.
How do you know that?
Because it was the fastest, strongest vehicle coming to me. When we check a vehicle's speed, we both visually observe it, and then we use the stalker radar to confirm what we've already seen.
Okay. And on this date, did you conduct both the visual observation and equipment confirmation of the speed?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what is the posted speed where you were at?
It is 75 miles per hour.
And what was the maximum speed that the stalker radar measured the Audi driving at?
At 87.
Okay. Did you ever successfully conduct a traffic stop on the Audi?
Yes, I did.
Where did the stop take place?
It would have been probably, like I said, I initially checked them at the 63 allowing time to go by and stop, probably at the 61 southbound.
Okay. And by 61, you mean the 61 milepost?
Correct.
Okay. Is both these mileposts, the 63 and the 61, are they both in Butler County?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Once you conducted the stop, did you personally speak to the driver of the Audi?
Yes, I did.
Do you see the driver of the Audi present in the Zoom conference?
Yes, I do.
Can you point them out and give a brief description for the court, please?
He's in the middle of my top part of my screen, but he's wearing a black, I guess you call it a hospital shirt, and he's got a white collar sticking up there from the t-shirt underneath.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record shall so reflect.
Trooper, did the defendant ever provide you with any official identification?
Yes, he did.
And what was this official identification?
A Kansas driver's license.
Did you ever write the defendant a citation for speeding 87 miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone?
Yes, I did.
Is there any reason why you wrote it specifically for 87 and not the lesser speed you had previously referred to?
Because that was the highest speed obtained as he was gaining from the rear.
Okay. And in your professional experience, do you typically default to the highest speed, to use your words, for these types of encounters?
Yes, I do.
Or in any redirect, no further questions.
Very well. Mr. Farhall, at this time, do you have any questions of the witness? You'll get a chance to tell your side of what
I might have to rename this "Gaining from the Rear."
happened shortly, but right now, do you have any questions for this witness?
Sure. Yes, I do, Your Honor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So first
You're
of all,
welcome.
thank you, Officer Collins. I appreciate your service and dedication to saving lives and what you do every day out there. So I do appreciate that. I hate that we're wasting time on a speeding ticket, to be honest with you, but
Oh, put a sock in it.
that's what we do, I guess, sometimes. So, so be it. My first question to you, I will ask, and I've brought along something. I don't know if you can read this or not.
It went, yeah, back it up there. It went blurry on me.
There we go. Can you read that piece of paper? That
I
formula?
can tell you what it is, but
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Well, we
Oh,
don't
it's
know
got
the relevant
relevance.
because we don't know what it is, but I think the trooper said he knows what
It's
it
math
is.
nonsense.
I know what it is. So you do
I-
not know what it is, Officer Collins?
I don't, I have no idea what that is. No, sir.
Oh,
So
I thought
I
you
had-
did.
I had no idea myself either, but when I did
Oh, good Lord. He's going to dazzle us with mathematics. Ooh.
a little bit of research, what that is a formula that is utilized to tell the accuracy of a radar.
Objection,
Oh,
Your
at
Honor,
this
foundation
point-
and relevance.
At this point, I am going to sustain the objection unless you have someone here who firsthand is an expert on that or can testify firsthand that that is what you're saying it is, then I can't let that in.
I can reference it for you, Your Honor, to a study done by MIT.
Objection, Your Honor, foundation.
And there's no foundation. I mean, I need to be able to tell that this is legitimate other than just you telling me, because you could tell me anything and I need to know that they really did do that study.
Would you like me to send you the reference to the MIT study, independent study on radars?
I'm not going to look up or do the research for you. No.
I did it myself already, Your Honor.
Well, but you don't have.
You did some research on calibrating machines, but not law, my friend. So sad. Too bad. You're in court. You got to know both of those things to get this done. You need a witness. You need a witness to get this in.
The people here who did the study to testify and allow Mr. Regier to cross-examine them.
Okay, that's your choice. If you choose not to allow that to be allowed, I understand.
Well, I'm just trying to follow the laws of hearsay.
That's
And
all
then,
right.
like,
You're not going to allow that to be allowed. That's quality. That's quality stuff.
like I said, there's also the foundation issue. So please proceed.
by foundation issue, I'm not quite sure that I understand what you mean by that.
Well, let's move on. I'm not gonna sit here and
Well,
tell you how to present your case. I'm not gonna walk you through it.
here's what I'm not asking.
That's perfect. I believe you. That is your foundation. And that is what we would say, would call legally insufficient in this particular room. No, carry on with something relevant.
You do. I appreciate that. Here's what's important about that. If you look at these, granted, we're not going to count it, but what that does tell
Your
you.
Honor, if the court's going to continue, allow this line of questioning and testimony to continue, I will let you continue objection.
Your objection is sustained.
So as I was saying, the thing that you see there is that there's a lot of different
Well,
variables.
We're not going to get into that unless you can present the person that.
Yeah, you see, we didn't see it because the objection was sustained. Good Lord. You have to move on to something else, not just repeat the same stuff that the objection was sustained on.
Prepared it, or somebody that can authenticate it as a reliable industry standard.
Fine.
Or
Fine. Let me ask you this.
Find anything on the internet.
Let me ask you this, Officer Collins. What variables go into what the accuracy is of those radar detectors? Do you know, sir?
As a matter of fact, I am not trained on that. That is not part of our training. I am required to know how to check the calibration of the unit and operate the unit.
And again, not picking on you, Officer Collins, but your calibration of the unit is a matter of pushing a button and the machine says, yes, it's within its parameters of what the company has set it to do, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you're pushing a button, it says, yeah, you're within the means of what we have set this to do. Fair?
That is correct.
Okay, so when you said if it fails, how many times do you test your unit and it fails and you say, oh, let me try it again, and you push that button a second?
Absolutely never.
Never, ever.
Never, ever.
Okay, so your machine has never failed since 2021.
No,
Every single
sir.
time you hit that button, it has said beep, beep, positive reading.
That's correct, or it would go out of service immediately.
On one failure, it goes out of.
Absolutely. Yep,
Okay.
we wouldn't be able to
Okay.
trust the equipment anymore.
That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. So would you agree? I guess my question would be, would you agree that there are other variables that affect a radar?
I would assume there are.
Okay, so some of the things that I would assume affect it are a distance and a range, an angle of the device, the rate
You're
of speed.
testifying. Are you going to make this a question somehow?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So a rate of speed, a pulse of runtime of how long you hold that radar on, the atmospheric pressure in the area, and a thing
Okay,
called
this
echo
is a-
signal.
Your
And a
Honor,
thing called,
objection testifying on cross.
Yeah. If you want to break that down and ask him about each of those factors individually, but you can't just lump it all together and then at the end of it, come up with some kind of statement or question. If
No.
this is going into a question, it's going to be so compound. You need to break it down and make it a question. And
so
let him answer.
leading into the question that I'm asking, the question is, are there variables that affect that radar? You've already said yes. Are some of those things the atmospheric pressure? You said that it was a clear day. I don't remember it being.
Your Honor, objection.
Fine, just you start out doing good and then you can't. Okay. So
That's the salesman in me, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay, ask him the question about the atmospheric pressure.
So, can the atmospheric pressure affect a radar?
I mean, if there is something in my field of vision or weather related, which there was not, I don't know about the atmospheric pressure, nor did I measure it on said day. I'm sure it was in the study you read, however.
Okay. How about signal noise ratio? Are you familiar with that terminology?
Boy, I am not. I'm sorry.
Okay. So signal noise ratio is the echo.
Objection, Your Honor, testifying.
Yeah, do that.
Sorry, I
ahead.
was just trying to explain what it was. So signal noise ratio is something that is utilized.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. You need to move on.
Okay. So when you test your radar detector, what is the testing for? What's it reading? What was, for example, what was the old tuning fork for?
They also check the calibration of the unit.
How do you know how that's done?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay, how, please?
I use 2 tuning forks. You hold it in front of the antenna. The tuning fork gives off a signal and tells you the operating level of the radar unit, and it allows you to verify its calibration.
So that signal that's giving off, is that a straight signal, a solid signal?
So you're asking me, well, I didn't do the test on said day, the tuning fork test. It is no longer required by policy. It is no longer required by the manufacturer. So I get we're discussing what the tuning forks do, but they allow me to check the calibration of the unit.
Okay, and it's no longer required, I'm assuming, because they've got that stuff built into the unit now, where hitting that button checks those things automatically. Is that correct?
That
or
is correct.
An assumption, I guess.
Yes.
Assumption. So signal noise ratio is what it's testing that for, is in particular.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, that's what it is. So,
stricken.
So also you mentioned something about you did a rear sane mode test or radar detection on the first reading that you took, the 87 miles per hour. Isn't normal procedure to do the dual mode, front and rear?
Our radar units do not have a dual mode.
They do not. They only have a single mode.
That is correct.
So
you can only get them one way at a time.
Is there shortcomings with a single mode versus a dual mode?
No, it prevents us from, I mean, if I were to be checking people coming and going at the same time, then that would allow for, me to check somebody going and not coming. So this only allows me to check one direction.
Okay. So a single mode versus a dual mode radar, I'm assuming a dual mode would take more pictures of the same thing or more readings of the same thing. Different angles, different advantages of it. I'm asking, do you know, is that why they're used to be dual?
I do not know. I do not know. Okay. I can just tell you how my radar operates.
Okay. Let's see if I have any other questions here for you. Do you know what the...
Yeah, I can't wait because they've been humdingers so far.
Standard deviations are for your radar detection, radar detector? Your, what is it? Stalker DXR? Stalker?
No, I do not.
Could you define standard deviation before I answer? That would be fun.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You don't know the manufacturer?
Well, I don't. I know that the more direct you are coming up behind me, that there's no deviation. If you're directly behind me or very near direct as you were, there is no deviation.
No deviation, meaning that it's 100% perfect. It's reading the speed 100%.
You are correct.
Okay. You said that the highest speed that you obtained was the 87 miles per hour. Did you lock in that speed, Officer
Yes,
Collins?
I did. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
And then shortly thereafter, locked in the 80 miles per hour?
I did. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so the 87 was when I was behind you. The 80 was when I was beside you.
No, it was. So like I said, you tucked in behind another vehicle, became invisible is how I referred to it. And then moved.
By the way, it's good to see you here, Biggin. Thank you, everybody. Biggin got over 1,000 yesterday on his second channel on an emergency basis. You don't know how much that means to me. That's really nice. That means that a whole bunch of you went over there and supported him. He's going to do a stream, I think, at 5:10 Central, 6:10 Eastern.
back out and sped back up to 80
I'll
miles an
redirect to
hour
it.
after slowing.
Okay.
When we're done.
All righty. I think that's all the questions I've got today, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Haw. Any cross-examine or redirect, Mr. Regier?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Trooper Collins, before you lost sight of the Audi the first time,
I didn't lose sight of the Audi.
You never lost sight of the Audi?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you before you saw the Audi get behind the other vehicle, did you measure the defendant's speed using stalker radar?
Yes, I did.
And and was it during that time that you measured the 87 mile per hour speed?
That is correct.
Okay. And is it your and again, just to be clear, is it your testimony that you measured the 87 miles per hour of the Audi before it went behind the other vehicle?
That is correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Now, do you have any questions based just on the little bit that he just asked?
Yes, I do.
Okay, confined to what he asked. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I got you. So
Okay.
87 miles per hour is what your stalker radar read when I was behind you. Is that what you're saying?
Over there in the left lane, like I said,
Yep.
when I said became invisible, I didn't mean you disappeared.
No, I got you.
I say that jokingly because people think, oh, I'll just change lanes behind this vehicle and he'll forget I ever existed. That
Okay.
I said that almost jokingly.
Yeah, but no, I get it. I get it. I'm not picking on you. And
Okay.
and you also said that if I heard you correctly, that when a car is in that position right behind you like that, it's 100% accurate. And so you know my speed exactly at that point in time. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. That's all my questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Any other witnesses, Mr. Regier?
No, Your Honor.
State rests?
State does so rest, Your Honor.
All right, now, Mr. Farha, it is your chance to put on any evidence if you wish. You can testify if you wish. You cannot be compelled to testify. And your failure to testify or put on evidence would not be used against you as evidence of guilt, but you may testify now or present other evidence if you wish.
I don't really care to testify per se, but is this where I get to give my side of the story, or is that still yet to come?
If this is where you get to give your story, but I have to put you under oath if you're going to give it.
Yeah, this is where you get to tell your story by going under oath and testifying, big dummy.
That's fine. Absolutely.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right. Please state your name and how you're related to this case, and then tell me what you want me to consider.
Sure. My name is Michael Farha, Michael A. Farha. I am the one that was allegedly traveling at 87 miles per hour and citationed with a speeding ticket for 87 miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone.
Okay. And what do you want to say about that situation?
So what I'd like to say is a couple things. First of all, in my research and studying on radars, and I have a real hard time understanding and agreeing and believing that anything in this world is 100% today. If radars were 100%, we wouldn't be having airplanes.
Your Honor, speculation.
Okay. Your Honor, I think I was told that the radar was 100% accurate, that I was doing 87
Well,
miles per hour when I was behind the officer.
I'll let you go ahead.
And I reconfirmed that again with the officer a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, so I find it very hard to find that anything is 100% accurate in this world anymore. In my research and in my studies, I saw that the probability of a radar of any
Objection,
kind.
Your Honor, not in evidence.
You can't get into what you saw in your research
Yeah, we've lost the awesome accuracy of the 1850s. Mm-hmm.
and your study unless you can prove that it is reliable or prove that it is not based on the statements of people not present in court today.
Okay. So the fact that hitting a button on a device saying that it's falling within the means of a company's speculation or a company's specifications that has built-in standard deviations of at least 2 degrees.
Objection, Your Honor, not speculation. And are we proceeding to closing arguments at this time?
Well, he's kind of doing his closing argument as well as testifying.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. There's nothing that is 100% accurate. I don't care what you say. I'm in the medical industry, and there's nothing 100% accurate. It's called a standard deviation, and there is a standard deviation to a radar detector. And that.
Oh, shut your hole. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Your argument sucks. I really do need my Battle Hymn of the Republic to play in the back of this, though.
That standard deviation is known to be 2%.
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation, not in evidence.
I'm going to let him proceed.
2% in a perfect world, 2 degrees in a perfect world, which equates to 95% accuracy. And 95% accuracy at 87 miles per hour, I could have been doing 82.65 miles per hour instead of 87 miles per hour. What I'm trying to say here is,
well, wrong, just wrong. Like he's assuming a standard deviation from what data set? I mean, what the hell? What are you talking about? That's gobbledygook to begin with. But assuming, arguendo, we take your silly premise, you're still speeding, jackwagon.
is nothing is perfect in a perfect world. We're not in a perfect world. There's other things that variables that could influence how well that device was working. It hasn't been taken in to be checked since 2021 when it was first installed. It's been a button hit to push and say, yeah, it's falling within their means.
Honor, if the state's going to continue, if the court's going to consider allow this line of questioning, the state will lodge a continuing objection on grounds of speculation.
These are the comments that you made earlier.
I am requesting.
I'm going to let you continue, Mr. Regier, but I will note your continuing objection as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
These things are built with a residual bias built into them.
That's judged for. You're absolutely right, counsel, but I'm going to let this guy tire himself out.
So when you're hitting that button to test it, it's falling within the means of their parameters. It knows it's not perfect. It's doing the best it can with the variables that are being fed into it. And that's why the value of that formula that I showed was that all those variables.
Objection, Your Honor, not in evidence.
So
Yeah. I'm trying to give you some leeway, but you haven't given, well, I'll save that. Go ahead.
So recommended probability of a device is not 100%. The accuracy of that has a 5% leeway, in my opinion.
Objection, Your Honor.
And your opinion is worth absolutely nothing on the topic. You have not qualified yourself as an expert witness. Good Lord, you couldn't qualify as an expert witness. You can't string two thoughts together that make sense, and you think you're gonna confuse people by using math terms. It's not gonna work.
Stated in the manufacturer's.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, at the end of the day, I don't feel that I've been proven without a reasonable doubt that a crime of 87.
At the end of the day, we don't care about your feelings. At the beginning of the day, we don't care about your feelings. And in the middle of the day, also don't care about your feelings.
Miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone has been proven here, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Well, Mr. Regier, I agree that was pretty much a closing argument. Do you have any questions of him, though?
Just briefly.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, you previously indicated that you are employed within the medical industry. What is your profession?
I am not employed at this moment in time. I am looking for a job, sir. And I don't know that I said that this time that I was employed in the medical industry, but I have sold medical devices for 40 years, sir.
Okay. Do you
Okay, so you don't know anything. You tried to imply you have some scientific background, which you don't. And now you're unemployed. Probably for that very reason. That was masterful. I wouldn't bother doing it, but it was kind of fun to see Regier just put him down that way. He knew what he was doing.
Do you have any experience working with law enforcement equipment?
No, sir, I do not with law enforcement equipment. I understand science. I was
No
trained
further
in
questions,
science.
Your Honor.
Doesn't sound like it.
Mr.
Well,
Farha, do you have any other evidence you wish to present today?
I didn't understand Mr. Regier's comment there. I'm sorry. What did he say?
No further questions?
Oh, okay. No, I don't have any further questions either.
All right, folks, I've pretty well heard the defendant's closing argument. I can pretty well tell what Mr. Regier is going to say, and is going to basically mirror a lot of what the trooper said. The trooper gave experienced, qualified testimony that he has used this radar since June of 21, that he's had years of experience with radars, uses them very frequently. This unit has had no malfunctions, and that when he uses it, it is accurate. The defendant gave me some good arguments, but he didn't have any evidence to back them up.
No, he didn't. He didn't give you good arguments, and he didn't have evidence to back it up.
I don't know where this
I get it. You're being charitable. I understand, but I don't have to be. I'm not in a black robe right now.
information came from, that there are variables, percents of errors. There wasn't a foundation that this particular defendant actually had any firsthand knowledge of the radar units. In fact, I understood him to say he didn't have. And so I have to go by what was the evidence. The defendant says, I don't feel I was guilty of 87, but I can't go by feelings. I have as much as I go by what is actually presented. And the testimony presented was from an experienced, qualified user of the radar, and not only the radar, but that he has to visually determine the speed of the vehicle, that he uses his visual training in conjunction with the radar and its accuracy. I do find the defendant guilty of speeding 87 in a 75. Costs are $108. The total due is $165. That is due in 14 days. The defendant has 14 days to appeal. If he believes I've misapplied the law, he can appeal that to the Kansas Court of Appeals. But in order for the clerk to accept his appeal, he needs to post a cash bond in the amount of $165.
And you dumbassed your way out of it.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Faha, anything further on this matter?
So 165 has to be paid first to the Court of Appeals if I choose to appeal.
It's paid into the clerk of the district court as an appeal bond if you appealed.
And does that alleviate the payment that you're saying, the $57, and I forget what the other part was, the court fee?
108.
108.
Your fine is $57. Your court costs are $108 for a total of $165.
Okay.
I order that be paid in 14 days, or if you appeal, I will stay that amount, but I am ordering you to post an appeal bond of $165.
Okay. And how is that done, ma'am?
I cannot, the appeal? I can't represent you in that. I can't direct you as your attorney in that. You'll have to do that on your own and with your own counsel.
Okay. You can't tell me how I go about applying for an appeal, setting up for an appeal?
Well, it's a legal process, and no, I can't legally walk you through and teach you how to appeal your case.
Hell no.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Trooper Collins, are you here on any other case?
I am not.
Then you and the defendant are excused at this time, sir. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Officer Collins.
Yep. Thank
Okay, we are now on the record in.
This is 25 IRO 02102. Ticket was issued on the 11th of April.
I'm sorry, sir.
We have man bond.
And it was issued about 11:47 in the morning near Woodward and 13 Mile. You were cited for operating while using a mobile electronic device.
He's in touch with his feelings, just like you'd expect.
You can admit or deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
Your Honor, I'd like to proceed with admitting with explanation.
And that is what, please?
So, Your Honor, I
would like to discuss my feels.
It was my second day on the job, and I'm not familiar with that area. The first day, the previous day, I had used my phone, and it was very simple to get to 12 Mile and then take Coolidge up to 13 and Woodward, where I'm working right next to that McDonald's on that intersection. The next day, the day I got the ticket, it had routed me to 13 Mile, and that whole area was also down with construction, which is completely fine. When I had reached that intersection where that Smoothie King is, that light had completely turned off or was completely like blocked off, and I kind of panicked. So I noticed that fire station in the corner, and then I was like, okay, like I kind of know where I'm at. When I got to Woodward, I started going north, and I knew that was the wrong way. So I got to one of the Michigan U-turns. When I got to that light, it was red. I then quickly just threw in the navigation for the job where I was going, and I just needed to flip it around and go south and past Corwell and get to that McDonald's. And
oh, sweet Jesus! What?
As I did that at that light, at a red, that's when I noticed the officer behind me, and I was like, okay, like there's a cop behind me, nothing crazy. As I got to the McDonald's and into that work, which is the gas station, that's when I noticed the officer pulled me over. And when she pulled me over, she was just like, hey, you've had your phone in your hand. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, just didn't know the area. The construction
that would be so much better,
confused me, especially with that light out. And I'm like, but I'm here, and that's when she was like, if you're going to use your phone, you need to have a stand and all of that. And I was like, I completely understand, but I don't have a stand or anything because I don't like to use my phone when I'm using it. I'm a little bit older. I understand tickets like these, especially on my insurance and stuff, don't look good, but I was using it for that reason, and I apologize.
The fact is you can't use it if you're operating the car. And the other side of the coin is, on the positive side, the Secretary of State doesn't assess points for this. So there are no points, but there is a fine, and the fine is $220, which can be paid online or by mail, or you can pay it at the courthouse counter if that works for you.
But having something like this on the record itself is not a good look for having a mobile device in your hand when driving,
Well, the record reflects the facts, and the fact is that it happened. So we can't make it unhappen because it did happen. So you can pay it online or by mail or at the counter, whatever works for you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Clifton, if you would unmute yourself, please. There you go. This is 25 IRO 026.
This guy's absolutely maddening.
57. You were ticketed on the 25th of April, a quarter after noon, near Durham and 13 Mile for impeding traffic. The officer gave you a ticket for impeding, which does not carry points, instead of giving you a prohibited turning ticket, which would carry a couple 3 points. Are you here to accept the break the officer gave you on the street or to reject it?
Yeah, no, the signs literally just got posted, and I was I wasn't completely aware of where I could go and or what I should do. So personally,
I'm asking you, are you admitting or denying responsibility?
This guy is if Disney did Beavis and Butthead.
For the infraction.
I mean, it was a newly posted, so I mean,
are you admitting or denying responsibility, sir?
I'm not. I'm not like denying it that I made the left-hand turn. I just wasn't aware on where I was supposed to go. So
If you're not denying it, you are admitting it, correct?
Okay.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to figure out.
I was trying to figure out where I could make that left-hand turn. So I made the
I'm trying to figure out if you're admitting or denying responsibility.
I mean, I guess I'm denying because I wasn't aware of where I could go.
Please raise your right hands, please. Raise your right hand, please.
Chisholm's got his hand in the air before the guy finishes his sentence. He's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care what you're going to say next. We're going to hearing right now.
Oh my goodness. So if I deny it, then that
you're not going to take an oath. I'm going to find you responsible by default. You are the one that scheduled a hearing.
Here are your options. If you don't take an oath, I'm finding you responsible by default. If you take an oath, after about 2 minutes of testimony, I'm going to find you responsible after a hearing. What do you want to do?
Okay. Now we're going to have a hearing, and the hearing is done under oath. You either swear or affirm. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get a hearing, and you are going to pay the ticket. So which way do you want it?
Okay, I'm admitting to fault for making a left-hand turn, even though I didn't know where to go. And then when I made that left-hand turn, she called another officer, had me hop out of the car, and then she tried to search my vehicle.
That's right, Shane. This ends with you paying the ticket. That's what Chisholm was trying to tell you here. Unless the officer freaks out or dismisses it or falls off her stool mid-testimony, you're getting convicted.
Because I had a legal piece of glass in my back seat.
She gave you a break by giving you a fraction of necessary points.
I understand she gave me a break, so that's why I'm admitting.
Fine is $175. It can be paid online or by mail, or you can stop by the courthouse and pay it at the counter, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. We're done. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is 25 R02740.
Okay, this I hate to tell you, this ends on a high note. This doesn't get worse; it gets better. But watch Chisholm when she gives her justification for why for the registration. His face, he about loses it. Just laughs in her face. He doesn't, but he's 1 second away from it.
A ticket for driving on expired plates that was issued on April 27th. When you were stopped, the plates were expired?
Yes, I didn't know that. It was my brother-in-law's car. He had given it to us, and we didn't know. We thought we.
It's a little different, but it puts me in mind of Rosanna Dana. It's insufferable. Anyway, you slice it.
We were waiting till July to do the tabs because we thought we had till July.
Well, if you would have waited until July, the tabs would have been expired for 4 years.
We didn't know that they were expired. He gave the car to us and said everything was good. He gave us.
Right there. I don't know if you saw his face, but he's like, are you kidding me with this? You thought it was good till July? In July, it'd be 4 years. He did crack a smile. He couldn't help himself.
The title, and we had some problems with the title. We have everything fixed now, but we had to get the lien off the title, and we didn't know that. But we thought we saw the orange tab, so we thought it was a 24 tab still. And my sister-in-law.
You have the new tabs now?
Yeah, we have everything up to date.
Is there anything you want to add to this, officer?
Yes, Your Honor. I did go ahead and check. Everything is up to date on the vehicle. I would like to make a motion to dismiss the citation.
Thank you. Ms. Henderson, everything is dismissed thanks to the officer's motion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the laugh.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, I watched most of that call. That officer was dismissing everything. So it's all these registration and like little tickets or whatever. But if they fixed it, she was looking it all up, and if they had their registration updated or whatever, she was dismissing all of them, which is typical. They just want you registered. They're not looking for tickets. This doesn't excite them. So the whole thing about that is, yeah, she got it dismissed, but she didn't need to get into this BS about, we didn't know. We thought it was valid till July and all this other stuff, which was just completely silly. Just you fix the problem, the officer will dismiss it. She did it for 3 people in front of her. Good times. All right. I'm going to send y'all over to Biggins' second channel. I think his first will be back up in a few days. But in the meantime, go over there and give him some love. Give him a little watch time, maybe a like and a subscribe so that he can get that thing up and rolling, because he's in YouTube jail for reasons I will never understand. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.